presentation of Fox Sports.
This homestand has not been easy to watch. The Marlins are 0-7. Ouch, babe. Bruce Bochy's San Francisco Giants are struggling too. They're out of first place. But look who's back. It's Cody Ross. And he is now a World Series hero. So release the hounds. It's Bark at the Park Night, dog. Marlins and Giants. Maybe a day off is what the Marlins needed, because they need something to get going on this homestand. The defending world champion San Francisco Giants are in town. The Marlins and the Giants open up a 3-game series. We've got dogs here tonight. It's Bark at the Park Part 2. We've also got some other wildlife. A panda frolicking in the infield. Fear the Beard. Maybe Fear Matt Cain would be better put. Ricky Nolasco always pitches well against the Giants, so we've got a good matchup. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. We knew this homestand was going to be tough. The Marlins knew it was going to be tough. I don't think anybody thought it would be 0-7 tough.
At this point, after 4 games with St. Louis, after 3 games with the Atlanta Braves, albeit very good teams, we were not thinking 0-7, no.
Well, the Giants are not rolling right now as well. When you take a look at these two teams and where they've been, you go all the way back to July 29th, eerily similar.
You know, you have 2 teams that are really struggling. For example, Cody Ross, over his last 21 games, hitting 149. Andres Torres, top of the lineup, 192. His last 17 games. They're not sure if Beltran will play this series, but they've played well ever since that series in the Bay. The Giants have gone 37-32. The Marlins 26-43. But 2 clubs struggling. You know you're going to get some good pitching from the Giants, and hopefully the Marlins get some good pitching as well.
In that series in San Francisco, in which the Marlins swept the Giants, the first matchup right out of the chute is this matchup. We look at our pitching matchup for tonight's ball game, brought to you by Coventry Healthcare of Florida. Big Matt Cain out of Tennessee, Ricky Nolasco out of Southern California.
Matt Cain has been an interesting story since his rookie year in 06. He has gotten the lowest run support in the major leagues since that time. But when he gets 3 runs or more since 2010, he's 17-1. Ricky pitched extremely well in San Francisco, beating Matt Cain.
So there you have it. When we get back, we'll chat live with Greg Dobbs, who's in the lineup. He's at third, and he's with Allison Williams. Dachshunds with the batting helmet. Little Johnny Bench look there. Ready to go. Marlins and Giants. Greg Dobbs in the lineup. And with Allison Williams. Allie?
Thank you very much, Rich. Greg, this team has dropped 7 in a row, but a much-needed off day yesterday. How beneficial can that be?
Very beneficial. Gives us a chance to kind of recharge the batteries, get away from the field, and refocus a little bit.
You've been starting regularly. Does that change your preparation at all?
No, my preparation pretty much stays the same. I got to be ready for everything because that's kind of what I do. So it's been a blessing, though, to be able to play and be out there and help the team on a daily basis.
Does it help you feel more comfortable being able to play on a regular basis?
I think it helps with everything, and I think every bench player will tell you that, no matter if they start or they come in late in games. The more you can get out there, the more at-bats, more pitches you can see, the more you can play out in the field itself. Helps you tremendously.
And Greg, how's the team feeling as they look to snap this skid?
We're very positive. We're very upbeat. This team has been very resilient the entire year, and I don't see why we shouldn't continue to be that way. It's got a lot of heart, this team, and we're not going to let a 7-game skid. After the month of June that we had, we're not going to let a 7-game skid get to us.
All right, Greg, thank you so much for the time. Guys.
Thank you, Allison. Ricky Nolasco about to take on the San Francisco Giants. The Marlins and the Giants kick off a 3-game series here in Miami tonight. The Fish, the Giants, coming up. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Toyota, moving forward, by AT&T, by Checkers, little place, big taste, and by All Your Cooling, today's comfort, yesterday's prices. Sun-Life Stadium, there are some gray skies above, but baseball to be played, and on time. How about that? As the Marlins and the Giants meet in a 3-game series. Now, back in late May when the Marlins were in San Francisco and swept the Giants. In Game 2 of that series, the Marlins and the Giants went into the 12th inning, and it was a tie ball game. Emilio Bonifacio was at the plate. Nate Schierholtz fielding the Bonifacio fly ball, and the collision between Scott Cousins and Buster Posey. And, of course, all heck broke loose after that. The Giants claiming that it was a dirty play. All of baseball siding with Cousins. And as Posey was carried off, out for the year, good to hear that he is rehabbing and on track to be back next year. To put it in perspective, this was the quote in the San Francisco Chronicle today from Cody Ross. It's been so long ago, I think everybody would agree there wasn't any intent to try to hurt Buster. I think right now, at this point in the season, the only thing anybody is thinking about is going out and winning ball games. There was a lot of emotion, a lot of people upset about it. But now that it's calmed down, it's water under the bridge. I actually forgot about it, associating the play with this series. Tommy Hutton?
Well, I think in our conversations with people on both sides, the Giants and the Marlins, that's exactly right. As so much has happened since then. It happened a long time ago. Everybody's put it aside. Right now, the Giants are a lot more concerned with the Arizona Diamondbacks than they are with a play at the plate that happened 2.5, 3 months ago.
The Diamondbacks, of course, had a walk-off win last night on a Justin Upton extra-inning home run, and it's the Diamondbacks who are a game up with the Giants in the West. Here's the Giants lineup. Bruce Bochy, his old skipper. At home plate, Jack McKeon, the two guys meeting. Nice to see. Warren Henry brings you the Giants lineup. Andres Torres in center field. Jeff Keppinger, newly acquired at second base. Pablo Sandoval at third. Aubrey Huff had a good home stand. Cody Ross is slumping right now. Orlando Cabrera. The Giants have had to acquire some veterans with some injuries down the stretch. Aaron Rowan always clobbers the Marlins. Eli Whiteside doing the catching, and Matt Cain hits ninth against Ricky Nolasco.
There is a ray of good news, Rich Waltz. The last time Ricky Nolasco pitched against the San Francisco Giants was on May 24th. It was against Matt Cain. And Ricky in 8 1/3 innings gave up just 7 hits and a run. He walked just 2 and had 5 strikeouts, and the Marlins won that game 5-1. He has had good success against the Giants in his career, a little more so in San Francisco than at home, but a good confidence builder for Ricky to pitch against a team he knows he's had success against.
Those are his career numbers against the Giants. As you heard Jack McKeon say on Marlins Live, the Marlins need to get off to better starts in ball games, and that goes for starting pitching, and it goes for their offense. As Andres Torres is at the plate. Torres with a count 0-1, not having the best of seasons. He had a terrific year last year. He's one of the many Giants that has slumped as of late. Last year an on-base percentage of .343. That's a strike, says Ed Rapuano, the home plate umpire. And it's 0-2. This is the comparison through August 11th for Torres last year and this year. But a guy that has always hit the Marlins well, even in his brief stay in the big leagues. Nolasco misses outside, 1-2. You got Torres, Keppinger, and Sandoval here in the first for San Francisco. Breaking ball. Nolasco gets a strikeout. And with that strikeout, Ricky is 1 shy of A.J. Burnett for second on the all-time list. And he is now 5 shy of Dontrelle Willis for the top spot in Marlins history.
Spins a good curveball to get strikeout in his career, number 752.
So here is Keppinger. The Giants on the disabled list have a variety of players. Of course, Posey you know about, but they lost Freddie Sanchez to a shoulder injury. Miguel Tejada's on the 15-day DL. So Brian Sabian had to go shopping, and he picked himself up a Jeff Keppinger and Orlando Cabrera. 2 very solid players.
Very solid veterans, both of those guys. Orlando Cabrera with a lot of postseason experience.
Breaking ball misses outside. Bruce Bochy, he and Jack McKeon know each other very well from the long association with the San Diego Padres. His 17th season as a manager. 2-time manager of the year. The 1-1. Keppinger, a fly ball to the left. That's Logan Morrison territory tonight. Lomo is under it and makes the catch.
Check in on the defense tonight for the Fish. Brought to you by Warren Henry. Lomo, Brian Peterson's in center field. Mike Stanton in right. Dobbs, Bonifacio, Meziga, Sanchez around the infield. And John Buck refreshed after a day off behind the plate.
Pablo Sandoval has already gone through his pre-at-bat ritual. Little hop out in front of the plate. The Panda is one of the few Giants that has been swinging the bat pretty well. And Nolasco spins one up there and gets a strike. The Panda hats are here. He's a fun player to watch. A bundle of energy and fun. Very athletic. You see his last 10 games.
I think the other night we forgot to put the Panda on our list of players who are fun to watch, smiling all the time. We were talking about Bonifacio.
Hits one to right field, hits it deep. That ball is out of here. Pablo Sandoval gives Matt Cain a 1-0 lead and hits home run number 14 of the season against Ricky Nolasco.
Realize there were so many transplanted San Franciscans here in South Florida. But one thing that the Marlins have been trying to do is set the tone early and have a quick inning. But a hanging slider, and Panda takes care of that. He doesn't miss many pitches like that.
Aubrey Huff climbs in, and it's 1-0 San Francisco. Jack McKeon has said over and over on this homestand, the Marlins can't keep burying themselves early in games, and that's exactly what they've done. The 4 games, the sweep to St. Louis, and the 3-game series loss to the Braves. Huff swings and misses. Aubrey Huff had a very good homestand, 12 for 34, and a 4-game hit streak as he climbs in.
Most of those games, Rich, against the Cardinals and the Braves, either first or second inning runs were scored against the Marlins.
Count is 1-2. Aubrey Huff certainly enjoyed last year, a guy that spent almost all of his career on losing teams until last season, and now a world champion. And he was a big part of last year. People forget he was 7th in the National League in the MVP voting, driving in 86 runs, hitting 26 homers, and 35 doubles. Nice. Outfitted for the night. Bark at the Park night, part 2. Breaking ball pulled foul. Down there at first, Roberto Kelly. Good ball player in his day.
Yes, he was a terrific outfielder, solid player.
So it's 2-2. Huff takes down low. The Giants, of course, acquiring Carlos Beltran a few days before the actual trade deadline, but Beltran is not in the lineup. He's been out the last 3 games with a sore hand. He got a cortisone injection in it. Another foul ball. And Beltran, who has done a lot of damage against the Marlins in this ballpark, not in the lineup tonight. And remains to be seen if we'll see him the rest of the weekend. You saw Cody Ross waiting on deck. 3-2 coming from Nolasco. That ball to right field. Stanton is there. Mike makes the catch. But Pablo Sandoval got a hanging breaking ball from Ricky Nolasco. And it's 1-0 San Francisco. first. Let's check in with Allison Williams. Allie?
Rich, that solo shot by Pablo Sandoval in the first broke a nearly 100-year-old baseball record. The Giants have now hit 20 straight solo home runs, the most in baseball. The previous record was 19, set by the Phillies back in 1914. In fact, the Giants haven't had a multi-run home run since July 6th, so over a month now. It's been a streak of solo shots for the Giants. Rich?
That is an amazing, amazing record. And it illustrates how much of a struggle it's been for the Giants to put together big rallies and score runs. Matt King gets a strike, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, he almost figured by mistake you're going to hit one with somebody on base. There are the numbers for the young right-hander. I say young right-hander, he's 26th, but he's in his 6th full year with the Giants. Matt King.
His 5-year average has been 33 starts and 210 innings a year. Here's the 2-1 to Bonifacio. And on the outside corner, it's 2-2.
He is truly a horse. He's never missed a start as a Giant. He's been tough in postseason.
Liner to the shortstop. Cabrera has it. And there's one out. Marlins lineup looks this way. Remember, the Fish have dropped 7 in a row. Warren Henry brings you the lineup. You saw Bonifacio. Alfredo Amezaga back in that 2 spot. Logan Morrison in left. Mike Stanton's in right. Greg Dobbs at third base. Gabby Sanchez at first. Brian Peterson in center field. John Buck will do the catching and hit 8th. Ricky Nolasco hits 9th. Amezaga on the outside corner. Alfredo with a new haircut. He has played against the Giants this year, but that was as a Colorado Rocky. Of course, the Marlins are headed to Colorado to see the Rockies Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Of course, a lot of talk about the last time the Marlins played the Giants in San Francisco.
Amezaga squirts that one down the right field line, and Alfredo's going to try to stretch it into 2. Oh, maybe not. He remembers Cody Ross has a pretty good arm.
He remembers that guy in right field has a pretty good arm and a very accurate arm. So pulling up with the single is Alfredo Amezaga. Talking about defense, brought to you by Warren Henry. Aaron Brown and Torres and Cody Ross. You actually have 3 center fielders in that outfield. Sandoval, Orlando Cabrera, Keppinger on second base, Aubrey Huff the first baseman, Eli Whiteside is behind the plate.
Here's Logan Morrison now. Matt Cain with Amezaga at first. Cain misses high and away.
But since, Rich, that weekend in San Francisco, the Marlins have gone 26-43. While the Giants have played 5 games over, they've gone 37-32.
And the Marlins have been maybe the streakiest team in all of baseball, having an awful June, a terrific July, and then stumbling out of the blocks in August. And there's the numbers that Tommy was talking about. Yeah, the Marlins had swept the Giants, went down to Los Angeles, and continued on to Arizona. Morrison drives that ball to right center field. That's in the gap. He'll get to the wall. Amezaga racing for third. He will be set. Lomo's heading for third. And he's in there with a triple. Amezaga scores easily on a triple by Logan Morrison, who stumbled as he came around third.
Cain doesn't make too many mistakes, but the pitch is up, and Lomo just jumps on it toward that Geico sign. That's a long way out. Once it gets in that area, Logan Morrison was thinking 3. Amezaga scores easily. A little slip off the bag.
Yeah. But he's all right, and that's a big run standing at third base, and a big man standing at the plate. Mike Stanton's up, Cain from the stretch. Stanton goes after the first pitch, pops it down the first base line. Huff giving chase. Morrison is tagging, and it's out of play.
These, Rich, are the situations we've seen over the last 7 games that have troubled the Marlins. When they've had a chance to add on, when they've had a chance to catch up. In a situation like this, the infield's back, runner at third, less than 2 out. You really have to get this run in.
You saw those numbers that Stanton had in the 3-game series. Hit .462. And against Matt Cain, he had his only home run in the series.
Oh, he got a hanging slider. He'd like to get another one of those right here from Cain.
Cain ready. There's the 1-1. Fastball, and Stanton almost fell over. Right now, contact would be nice. The infield has drawn in.
Yeah, with 2 strikes, they come in, and this is where the Giants know they have a little bit of an out. They know that Mike Stanton has struck out 126 times.
Fastball up and in. The funny thing about Cain is he's been better against left-handed hitters than against right-handed hitters. Not that he's been bad against right-handed hitters, but lefties have hit under 200 against him.
Yeah, overall the league's hitting 222 against him.
2-2 to Stanton. Morrison at third. And Mike fouls it back. You can see he's trying to work Stanton up with the fastballs.
This is what he likes to work hitters with as we check the Coventry Healthcare scouting report. Electric arm. He's got a live arm. 3 very solid pitches that he'll use, and not afraid to pitch inside. He will do that.
2-2 pitch coming. Breaking ball, line into left field. That's a base hit. And the Marlins have the lead. Morrison crosses. And Mike Stanton with an RBI single. He did a lot of damage against the Giants in San Francisco.
He saw a lot of different pitches. That breaking ball just stayed enough of the plate. Got enough of it. Hits it hard, his 70th RBI, and that's a nice run to get.
Morrison was not running that well on his way to the plate. Remember, he still has the stitches in his right leg, and you saw him kind of stumble across the bag when he ended up at third. So here's Dobbs, our pregame guest, with Stanton at first, facing Matt Cain. Breaking ball misses low and inside.
Dobbs, over the year, we have talked about Rich a lot. Very astute in his preparation, and I talked to him around the batting cage. He wanted to go back in and look at the video as to how Cain worked him in San Francisco, what pitches he saw.
He was also part of our pregame interview and is a guy that is almost a slave to his routine. For him to take time out and visit with Allison was certainly a nice gesture. And if he goes 3 for 4 tomorrow, he'll want to talk to Allison before the game as well. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
Not that players are superstitious or anything.
It's interesting for a guy like Dobbs too this year, and he said this in the interview with Allison, how much he appreciates the opportunity to play every day. He's had a variety of roles with the Marlins. He's filled them all quite well. Runner goes. Dobbs cranks one. Foul. But he has to prepare differently now, Tommy, than he has in years past, because with the Phillies, as a pinch hitter, he would watch tape on relievers and maybe a little bit on the starter, because the guy that he'd usually see would be a closer, an 8th inning guy or a 7th inning guy.
Yeah, now he has to watch that starting pitcher and then maybe see the reliever later.
1-2.
He can tell you everything you want to know about Brian Wilson.
Yeah. And the nice thing for a guy like Dobbs is...
That might be scary, too, by the way.
The nice thing about Dobbs now is that he gets to see the same pitcher 2 or 3 times if he's a starter, which certainly you're not afforded that when you're a pinch hitter. Stanton back to first. Now, we've seen Mike, without a big lead, tear towards second, get great jumps and steal bases this year. Counts 1-2 with Dobbs up there. Dobbs hits a slow ground ball to second. Keppinger and out there, and safe there. Dobbs, good hustle, breaks it up. bring Gabby Sanchez to the plate.
And that'll be a pitch that Dobbs will file away. A very good breaking ball. Had him out in front, fooled him. You notice how quickly Stanton had to get down to get out of the way of the throw. He wasn't even at second base.
Yeah, he knows that guy better. There are a lot of
well, maybe not that guy.
A lot of beards around here. Sanchez takes a strike. Brian Wilson actually visiting Hugo the barber, getting a little trim.
Got it trimmed up, yeah.
Hugo the barber, in-house barber, also worked on Alfredo Amezaga.
Yeah,
today.
in-house, Marlins, visiting teams. Hugo's there for everyone.
Tommy, he's not just a barber, he's an artist. Gabby takes down
He's
low.
a stylist.
Tell me what you see with Gabby Sanchez right now.
You know, I was talking to Cookie Rojas about that. We see a guy who's gone out of the strike zone a little bit, has chased more pitches than we saw early in the year. And you start doing that, that's a good take. It's a good pitch there, but not necessarily a pitch you want to swing at.
Over his last 13, and Gabby had that look, and I'm sure what he said to Ed Rapuano is that as far as it goes? And Eddie Rapp probably said, yep, that's right on the corner. And it was. It's a great pitch. 1-2. Fastball got in on his hands.
I think he was actually saying, Eddie, what do you think Fox Tracks has that pitch? You think that was a strike? And Eddie Rapuano, one of the best, one of our favorites, said, yep, got it on the corner. See, I saw it.
You saw that Matt Cain has already thrown 26 pitches in this first inning. Marlins have a couple runs, answering the Sandoval homer, and that ball gets away. Dobbs will get to second. The Giants are fortunate that the ball caught the corner of the signage there. Otherwise, it might have trickled down the line, and Dobbs may have had a shot at third. Watch where this ball hits.
Well, way out of the reach of Huff. Dobbs picks it up. Yeah, it catches that little corner and stays right there. But either way, Dobbs is in scoring position.
You've got pretty good arms out there, except maybe in center field with Torres. Ross, a premium arm in right. Rowand, a good throwing arm in left.
Giants now with 82 errors on the year. In comparison, the Marlins with 65.
Torres, a decent arm. He's a very good outfielder.
And as we mentioned, three guys who really can play center field.
Gabby pops it up into shallow right. Keppinger is there. Ross calls him off, and Cody makes the catch. But the Marlins jump on Matt Cain for two on Bart at the Park night.
Coventry Healthcare de Florida.
Very representative of the dog population here tonight. A lot of fans out. It's actually is a perfect night to bring the dogs out because it's not too hot. And a few dogs got up and slapped their paws when Cody Ross was announced. He got a nice warm ovation. This is his first appearance in this ballpark since he joined the Giants last August. And of course, Ross did not play a whole lot in August and September for the Giants. But when Jose Guillen played in September, when his wife was arrested for accepting a shipment of HGH in the mail, Guillen mysteriously disappeared from the Giants roster, and suddenly Ross got in there and he got hot. And Marlin fans know when Cody Ross gets hot, good things can happen. And Cody stayed hot the entire postseason, almost single-handedly beating the Phillies in the National League Championship Series. He was the MVP there, and he also had a good World Series as well.
Well, and he's been cold, so that always gets you thinking a little bit, because you always know when Cody gets hot, he's usually been real cold before that. Just about a 145 batting average his last 22 games.
All your cooling brings you the weather. 79 degrees. A 50% chance of rain. We haven't seen it so far. There's actually some sun splashed on the upper reaches of Sun Life Stadium as Orlando Cabrera stands in, a guy that has been to the postseason an awful lot. Bangs one to third. Dobbs down to get it and throws him out. Ricky gets two quick outs here in the second. Here comes Aaron Rowan. Tomorrow night is a Super Saturday, Baker Concrete Super Saturday, RKM and Ken Y, presented by AT&T. Marlins and Giants start at 7:10. The show is afterwards. 1-877 Marlins, or go to marlins.com.
I guarantee Greg Dobbs would tell us this, but just watching him and knowing that he's worked with Perry Hill, he's a better third baseman than when we saw him as a Philly, the times he would get to play third base with Philadelphia.
Oh, I don't think there's any question.
Yeah.
Aaron Rowan at the plate, one of the more unique batting stances. Velasco gets a strike on the inside part, and it's 1-1. And he's done some damage against the Marlins in his career. Those are his season numbers. He has 66 career hits and 10 career homers. Over for it is Gabby, and it's out of play. He hit one of the bigger home runs against the Marlins last year. He took a Leo Nunez slider, pounded it out to left field to tie a game in the 9th. You see the 51 career games against the Fish. Not only did it tie the game, the Giants won the game, but Nunez stopped throwing his slider after that. 1-2 pitch.
That a good slider there, but he got enough of it to foul it off.
Rowan has been very good as a pinch hitter this year. 381, 3 pinch hit home runs. Scott Hairston and Brooks Conrad also have 3 pinch hit home runs.
Rowan has one of those stances when you were a kid hitting in the backyard with your buddies. His would be one you'd always copy.
It's like he's sitting on a stool and then stands up to hit. Off the end of the bat, Morrison is there.
A little Jeff Bagwell-like.
1, 2, 3. You could be batting stance guy, Tommy.
No!
Game Connect, the ultimate online experience for fans. Log in, take part of the most interactive forum during Marlins games. Stats, trends, exclusive analysis, and live Twitter feeds. All kinds of stuff. There you go. Log on, kids. Knock yourself out.
All kinds of things on that site. You know, the interesting thing about the Giants, aside from being here at Bark at the Park night, of course, is that if you go back to that series in San Francisco, they saw perhaps the best of the Marlins. And now here they are in South Florida seeing the Marlins at a low point after a 7-game losing streak.
Well, of course, the Marlins don't have Omar Infante. They don't have Hanley Ramirez. Chris Coughlin was playing in that series. Peterson, it's a high chopper. He may beat this one, and he does. You got a sense when Huff got to the ball that Petey had a shot. Kane didn't get off the mound quickly, and Peterson really runs well.
Boy, there are a couple of things that happened there. It's a base hit, an infield hit for Peterson. Snaps a little 0 for 9 that he was on. He gets out of the box quickly. A little slow, but Kane has to get there a little sooner because Huff didn't go that far off the bag. And Peterson just beat Kane to the bag.
Is that a ball that Huff should have let Keppinger?
Then it's just as tough a play, especially if Huff has wandered off the bag as far as he did.
John Buck now. Buck has been one of the hotter Marlins since the All-Star break. He's on a 6-game hitting streak. And Kane buzzes him up and in with a fastball. He was 3 for 13 in San Francisco.
And we mentioned Kane not afraid to pitch inside. That's part of his game.
Buck drives that to right center. Hits it pretty well. Torres is there, and he runs it down on the warning track. That's about 400 feet of a drive to right center field.
About the only other ballpark where Torres runs that down is his own.
Yeah.
At AT&T.
Tomorrow at 4, Billy's Bunch is on. It's presented by Players Edge Academy, August edition. Brings even more fun, kids, as Brendan takes a tour of the new Marlins ballpark. Billy's Bunch tomorrow at 4 on Fox Sports Florida. Here's Nolasco. Let's see if he's going to try to bunt Peterson up. Ooh. Kane misses in. Matt Cain screaming at the umpire that Nolasco bunted through the ball, but the appeal down to Ron Coppola was no attempt.
Well, when it ball's up and in that much and you're just trying to do anything to get out of the way, you're not going to get that call if you're the Giants.
Nolasco takes a strike, and it's 1-1. The Arizona Diamondbacks, with their dramatic win last night, have won 3 in a row, and they host the Mets tonight at Chase Field. The Mets have lost 2 straight and have fallen a game under 500.
A guy having a tremendous year for the Diamondbacks pitching tonight, Ian Kennedy. Ian Kennedy is 14-3 with a nice 3.20 ERA.
However, he's facing a guy that certainly should be in some of the discussions for Rookie of the Year, and that's Dylan G.
Absolutely.
G at 10-3, although his ERA is just under 4 at 3.93. I think a Vance Worley probably edges him out in the pitching category. Or maybe a Craig Kimbrell. Kane going to go for second, and he gets the out. Peterson out. There's 2 down. Nolasco's at first, and up comes Bonifacio.
Just a little bit too hard. I still don't have a problem with it being back to the pitcher. Make him make the play, but a little too hard. Couple of bounces, and Kane has it. You see, he didn't have to come off the mound all that far. And then the rest of it is up to him. With that 2 hops. He hears it from his catcher yelling 2-2, second base. And Kane completed the play with a nice throw.
Sunset in South Florida. That's out where the Humane Society folks are out there. The Bark at the Park benefits the Humane Society. The Marlins always have a great turnout. And plenty of Scooby snacks and dog-type stuff up in that upper deck. Bonifacio takes outside, and it's 2-0. Emilio lined out back in the first. You know, one thing about the Marlins that's very different now than the series in San Francisco is Emilio Bonifacio. Bonifacio, of course, the player of the month in July. And yeah, he was having a pretty good year, but really it wasn't until Jack got here that all of a sudden he was unleashed.
He didn't even play in the Matt Cain, Ricky Nolasco matchup in San Francisco. Interesting when you look at the lineup from that game. Back on May 24th, Coughlin led off. Hanley was hitting second. Dobbs was hitting fifth. Omar Infante was hitting eighth in that lineup.
The Giants have a couple of guys on the disabled list as well, Pat Burrell and Barry Zito, that maybe they're just to keep them around. Three-two coming. And Bonifacio lines it foul. Zito was bounced out of the rotation, having a very ineffective year. Burrell, of course, with the arrival of Beltran, they needed some place to put Beltran.
Well, a couple of veterans kind of on the downside. Burrell hitting at .233, just 7 home runs and 21 RBIs.
Bonifacio fouls it back.
But Pat Burrell always enjoys coming back to South Florida.
Pat the bat.
There's Beltran. I believe he had a cortisone shot, and some around the Giants think he might go on the DL. Others think that he might be ready in a few days.
Bonifacio strikes out. Marlins leave a runner. 2-1 Fish.
Rich, it is Bark at the Park night, and it's a great event for pet owners to bring out their dogs, but it's also for a good cause. All the proceeds from the tickets sold for dogs, $6 a piece, go to the Humane Societies of Broward County and Miami-Dade. And I'm here with Jennifer from the Humane Society of Broward County. Jennifer, how is this event as far as raising awareness about the organization?
It's great for us. You know, we love to come out here. The people are great. We see a lot of our alumni here, actually, different dogs. The last dog we used to promote the game a few months ago actually got adopted right before the game, so it was great. It's a great event for us.
About 1,000 dogs came out for the event in June. Pretty good turnout here as well. And what is the adoption challenge you guys are trying to raise awareness about?
Sure. We are part of a national challenge to win a $100,000 grant from the ASPCA. So what we're trying to do is double adoptions from now until October 31st. You can visit our website, which is kanebroward.com/challenge to find out more information. Come by the shelter.
All right, and a $100,000 grant, so come by and support them. Rich, Tommy, back to you.
All right, thank you, Allison. Nice work tonight. Ricky Nolasco with a fastball that misses to Eli Whiteside. It's 1-0. Whiteside out of Delta State in Mississippi. Kind of been a career backup catcher. Thrust into the limelight, of course, in the absence of Buster Posey. He and Chris Stewart have been sharing the catching duties. Whiteside fouls it out of play. Cleveland Clinic third inning. Marlins have 2 runs on 4 hits. The big hits for the Fish. The RBI triple by Logan Morrison and an RBI single by Mike Stanton. Pablo Sandoval hit a solo homer in the first. And that's how we've arrived at 2-1. Whiteside dumps that into right center and it lands for a base hit. And that conveniently for the Giants comes in front of Matt Cain. Even though Cain has popped 4 homers in his career, he'll probably be bunting here.
Yeah, just 4 for 46 this year, so I would expect a bunt.
0-87. Ricky misses away.
One thing you make yourself aware of is that you got to drop down a pretty good bunt. You have the catcher running at first base. So you might have a little extra time if he bunts the ball too hard one way or the other.
Gabby thought about it, now throws it into center field. And I think he got a little hung up with Ricky Nolasco there as well.
Well, I think once you get hung up, then you have to stop. And I think he could have. He hesitated. Once you hesitate, you're not going to make this play anyway. Here's a hesitation. Ricky was down. Ricky was out of his way. I think the hesitation cost him. Little double clutch. And then you try to overthrow it because you hesitate. And a poor throw.
So Andres Torres now. Let's see what he's doing. Torres squares. Pushes a bunt and a good one. Dobbs better hurry. And he just gets him. But the Giants are set up nicely now with 1 out. And runners at second and at third. So the second sacrifice bunt for the Giants. Cain got a sacrifice along with an error on Gabby Sanchez. Torres gets a sacrifice. Now Ricky goes after Jeff Keppinger.
Been such a solid year defensively for Gabby. That's only his 4th error of the season.
Keppinger actually was having a solid offensive year for a woeful Houston team. Hitting .307 with a .320 on base percentage. But has yet to really click with the bat with the Giants.
Yeah, and he was one of those acquired a little bit before that deadline. He was acquired July 19th, so before that 31st deadline.
Freddie Sanchez going on the disabled list. Miguel Tejada on the DL. Oh, 1 pitch. Trying to get him to bite on a breaking ball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Inning open with a base hit from Eli Whiteside. He's at third. Matt Cain's at second with 1 out here in the third. The 1-1. Liner into right. Stanton got a good jump, makes the catch. Runner tags, and he's not going anywhere. Perfect one-hop throw for Mike Stanton.
You notice the thing that Mike did on that compared to the other day when he was coming in on a ball, everything sped up, and he threw the ball, sailed it over everybody. That time he took his time, slowed it down a little bit. Also in his mind, he knew that Whiteside was probably not going to tag on this shallow fly ball. He takes his time and then just gets it in.
I threw it on the run.
Yeah, remember the other day it was Bourne the runner, and he tried to air one out. Everything got too fast, and there was no way Whiteside was going to go to the plate or even think about it.
Marlins are going to take their chances with Aubrey Huff instead of Pablo Sandoval. Sandoval, who jumped on a breaking ball and put it in the seats.
Interesting decision.
It is, because...
And I'll tell you why. Yes, you have a guy who just hit a home run, but you can pitch to him. He can swing. He's going to swing at anything. And if you get ahead, you can get him to chase something. On the other hand, you have a guy that lately has been swinging the bat a little bit better and overall is a better hitter than Pablo Sandoval.
Jack McKeon has liked the intentional walk, and Tommy, on this homestand, it has backfired numerous times.
I was just going to say it hasn't always liked him on this homestand.
So let's see if the strategy works here. Remember, Huff had a good at bat. He hit 2 balls hard foul and then lined out to Stanton.
And I'll throw one more thing in the mix. Huff is, with that line drive out, 1 for 15 against Ricky Nolasco.
So here's Huff. He had a big home run in the World Series in Texas. Popped him up. Bonifacio sees it and makes the play. So Jack McKeon, a little bit of a riverboat gamble, and it pays off nicely. Marlins on top of the Giants. Matt Cain getting ready to face Alfredo Amezaga, Logan Morrison, and Mike Stanton. We have dogs in all varieties, sizes, shapes, colors, demeanors. Some have backpacks with them. Some have got do-rags going. One of our favorites, always the lineup of dachshunds with the batting helmets. You get those batting helmets filled with ice cream at the ballpark. Maybe you're going to have the dog eat them and then you just stick them on their head.
Slurp out the ice cream and you have yourself a batting helmet.
There you go. See, they got a pool back there for the dogs.
Oh, it's first class.
Matt Cain, Marlins got to him for 2 in the first. Had a base hit in the second. A whole row of Brian Wilson fans.
We talked about how Cain, over his career, which is really astonishing when you think about it. When he first came in the league in '06, since that time, he has had the lowest run support of any pitcher in the National League.
And he has a great ERA. This is start number 195. His ERA in his career is 3.39, and yet he's under 500. He's 66.
It's incredible.
And 70.
Well, as an example, his last start was against the Phillies. He lost 2-1 to Cole Hamels. He gave up 2 runs, but only 1 was earned. It went 8 innings.
Some of that has got to be attributed to the fact that he pitches in a pitcher's park.
Yeah.
One of the most pitcher-friendly parks in baseball. But, some of the other guys on the staff, Vogelsong up at almost 4.5 runs a game.
Hey, he's ahead of Bumgarner this year anyway.
The thing you got to like about Cain is his career home road ERA splits. At home 3.15, on the road 3.67. That is pretty darn good. Meziga shoots that one foul. The count 2-2. Already 50 pitches for Matt Cain. Marlins have made the big guy work. He is big, 6'3", 230, out of Germantown, Tennessee. And he's a first-round draft pick back in 2002.
I'll tell you, the Marlins have had a nice approach against Cain tonight. It's one of the reasons his pitch count has gotten up so high.
Oh, Meziga works a 3-2 count. And Huff with a lunging stop. Meziga pulled it by him for his base hit back in the first. Our Tickets of America interactive poll. Which team will win the National League West? San Francisco, 67%. 789. The Diamondbacks, an incredible turnaround. A 97-loss team last year. Kirk Gibson told his team in spring training, I expect to get to the postseason. And while many thought it was bluster, apparently his team bought in. And that's one of the things that Kevin Towers really liked about Gibson. Wasn't the, hey, we're building for the future. It was, darn it,
we want to do it now.
Right. Only he didn't say darn it. Morrison a triple to right center, and he takes down low.
Hey, I'm happy to report, especially since they're out of town now. Cubs are playing in Atlanta. Dan Uggla homered his first AB.
Wow.
32 consecutive games.
Wow. 13 homers now during the streak. That's why for the Braves, the sweep of the Marlins was so important, because yeah, the Braves are looking up at the Phillies, but I think more so they're looking across at both the Giants and the Diamondbacks, because if the Giants and the Diamondbacks both stay hot and keep winning, well, one of those teams might get close to the Braves as the wild card team. There are your wild card standings.
I think some interesting injury situations surrounding Atlanta. Their young right-hander Tommy Hanson had a cortisone shot in his shoulder. Jurgens is still on the disabled list with a knee problem.
A strike to Stanton. Mike drove in a run with an RBI single back in the first. And Matt Cain misses in. Stanton homered against Cain in San Francisco. That was game 1 of the series. It was Ricky Nolasco against Matt Cain. Nolasco got the win. Gabby Sanchez had 3 hits, drove in 3 runs.
It's almost like you get Ricky Nolasco and Anibal Sanchez in the Bay Area, and they pitch well.
There's the 1-2 from Cain. Game 2 was that 12-inning ball game, of course, with the home plate collision. People forget that Stanton was 4 for 6 with 2 doubles and 4 RBIs in that game. In fact, the wacky thing about that game was the fact that the Marlins scored 3 runs in the 9th to stretch their lead. They had a 1-run lead going into the 9th. And then the Giants in the bottom of the 9th scored 4 times to tie it. And that's why it went to extra innings. And you had the play at the plate in the 12th. 2-2 misses up. It was not a good night for Leo Nunez. Fastball misses up. A base runner here with 2 outs in the 3rd. Full season ticket plans in the new Marlins ballpark available now. The Diamond Club is already sold out, and several other premium areas are close to capacity. So secure your seats today. Call the new Marlins ballpark sales headquarters, 1-877-411-2012. Nice new rendering there on the left.
Yeah, he talked about Nunez in that wild game. He gave up a base hit, then a double to Sanchez, Freddie Sanchez, a single to Huff, a big one that drove in 2 runs, and a base hit to Buster Posey.
So Stanton's at first. Dobbs bounced into a fielder's choice. Is only at bat. Stanton is running. A swing and a miss. Whiteside's throw is waiting on him. And Stanton is thrown out. 2-1 Fish. Hello. Here's our AT&T trivia question. Flip the phone for the dog's amusement. Who's the all-time batting leader in San Francisco Giants history? So we're talking batting average. All-time batting average leader.
I would think that would be correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's Cody Ross.
Boy, as you go back into San Francisco Giant history, you could start with Matty Alou.
Well, it said 3,000 plate appearances. So you're going to have to find a Giant that was there a long time. So a Mays, McCovey, Bonds. I don't know if Cepeda had 3,000 plate appearances with the Giants.
As a Giant.
There's the 1-1.
Will Clark.
Matt Williams.
Matt Williams. There's some great names to choose from. Yeah.
Johnny LeMaster.
Al Gallagher.
Dirty Al Gallagher. That was his nickname. Pitch misses down low. Cody flied out to left back in the second. Orlando Cabrera, Aaron Rowand as well. At one point, the Giants had all three of the Alou brothers.
Yes, they did.
Matty, Jesus, and Felipe. 3-1. High fly ball, sending Peterson back. And he makes the catch.
Matter of fact, saw Felipe Alou in the Giants clubhouse this afternoon prior to the game. Felipe makes his home up in Palm Beach County, so he usually comes down when the Giants are in town.
Former Giants skipper. Now Cabrera hit a sharp one to Dobbs back in the second. Orlando Cabrera, 36-year-old Colombian. One of the few Colombians in Major League Baseball. Edgar Renteria. His brother Hobert Cabrera spent some time in the big leagues as well.
His brother was one of those guys that could really swing the bat.
Yes.
But didn't have a position. Certainly the way Orlando has had the position at shortstop or second base in his career.
His brother had one of the great quotes that I've heard from a ball player. His brother in one of the off seasons was actually shot in the derriere in a carjacking attempt. And somebody the next season, he was in Seattle, asked him if he felt pressure in a bases loaded late inning situation. And he looked at him and he said, "Man, I just got shot in the..."
You know where.
You know where. You think that's pressure? I'll tell you what pressure is. Here's the 2-2. He went over and played a long time in Japan. And Orlando bangs one into right field.
I guess pressure was pulling that bullet out.
Yeah. Orlando Cabrera singles to right. Up comes Aaron Rowand. Are there any modern-day Giants that have 3,000 plate appearances with the Giants?
No, when you mean modern day, you mean the last...
I'm talking about guys that have played in the last 5 years. Pablo Sandoval has a great average, but he doesn't have 3,000 plate appearances.
Of course, plate appearances are also walks.
He may have 3,000 plate appearances in terms of meals, but not...
Different plate.
Yes.
Bonds probably had 3,000 walks alone.
Yeah, well, Barry Bonds could be the guy.
Yeah.
Or you could go with his dad, Bobby Bonds.
Bobby Bonds.
I think Barry had a better batting average, though. Barry Bonds has got to be the answer.
Ken Henderson.
Ken Henderson. Tito Fuentes. Here's the 0-1. And one is pulled foul. My first glove as a kid was a catcher's glove. Even though I didn't play, I never caught. It was a Dick Dietz model.
I was going to say Tom Haller or Dick Dietz.
Dick Dietz was one of the old Giant catchers. Here's the 0-2. Up the middle, Bonifacio, Amezaga's turn, and Rowan bounces into a double play. And the fourth inning is over. The Marlins and Ricky Nolasco hanging on to a 2-1 lead. FPL is working to make its system stronger, smarter, cleaner, and even more efficient. Visit FPLConnect.com to learn more. And by Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. 2-1, Marlins on top of the Giants. Let's check in with Allison Williams. Allie?
Rich, tonight's starter, Matt Cain, was probably the best of the Giants starters in the postseason last year. The group was absolutely spectacular, propelling the Giants to the World Series title. And what makes this group unique is that all 4 starters were drafted and signed by the organization. That's the first time it's happened in Major League Baseball since the draft started in 1965. In fact, they were all picked from 2002 to 2007 without a draft pick higher than 10. You can see Matt Cain, 25th overall. 0 earned runs in 21 and a third innings. Lincecum also spectacular, 10th overall pick in 06. He won 4 of his 5 starts. Sanchez had 22 Ks in 20 innings, so pretty impressive. Also during that run, Brian Wilson was picked in the 24th round of the 2003 draft. So they got some pretty spectacular arms in that 5-year span, developed them, and it paid off in the form of a World Series victory last year. Guys?
Yeah, that's Alice, that's a good point. Tommy,
pretty impressive.
As the Marlins look at just the competition in their own division, the Braves have been outstanding at doing exactly what Allison just described. They've nailed a lot of draft picks. They've been able to develop good young pitchers. The Phillies have done a little bit of both. Certainly Cole Hamels they developed, but the Phillies have such great revenue that they can go out and sign a Roy Halladay, trade for a Cliff Lee, and they've done that. The 3-2. A swing and a miss. Here's the AT&T trivia answer. We're thinking Barry Bonds on this.
Yeah, I think it has to be. But we came up with some great names of the past of San Francisco Giant history.
Yes. 312 average for Barry Bonds. I think maybe the most impressive thing about Brian Sabian's tenure with the Giants and this team in the World Championship last year is that they won despite 2 not so good contracts. I mean, enormous contracts. The Barry Zito contract and the Aaron Rowan contract. Some franchises that would cripple. But the Giants were able to win despite those 2 contracts.
And you see some teams that that happens to. They aren't able to work through that. A couple of names we didn't come up with. Just thinking we did. Did we say Willie McCovey?
Yeah.
Oh, we did say.
McCovey.
I don't know if we said Orlando Cepeda.
Yep.
If we did, Cepeda had over 5,000 plate appearances.
With the Giants?
307.
Oh, okay.
That's right. We weren't sure if Cepeda had enough plate appearances with
the Giants.
But he did.
Baby Bull.
Yeah.
1-2.
Cha-cha.
That one fouled back. Yeah, the Giants were they were a team. You know, they're one of those teams that, I don't want to say a baseball Buffalo Bills, but a team that was really good in the 60s and early 70s and didn't win a World Series. And it's amazing how, you know, you think about 2 Game 7s, game on the line at bats, and how drastically different it can change the course of a franchise or how you view a player. You think of Luis Gonzalez against the New York Yankees as a Diamondback. The little bloop shot. If the Yankees had been playing the infield back,
barely made it to the outfield.
If the infield had been playing back for 2, that's an out. And then you think about the ball McCovey hit in the World Series against the Yankees for the 3rd out
to Bobby Richardson at second base
with the tying and the winning run in scoring position, and Richardson had to go up and spear it, and that was an absolute seed. And yet the Giants didn't win the World Series. McCovey had a better at bat. He hit the ball hard, right on the nose. Gonzo bloops it in, and that's
baseball.
That's baseball. Diamondbacks win a world championship. The Giants had to wait until last year. Gabby threw the bat out and pops it into shallow right. It's been a rough stretch for Gabby Sanchez.
Gabby Sanchez now just 2 for his last 26.
Brian Peterson coming up. It's the view from up above. After tonight, just 17 more in this enormous stadium. Outside corner, 0-2. On our next homestand, we will have a telecast in which Frank Fort will be in the new stadium and filing reports throughout the night. Peterson hammers that one into the corner, and he's going to get extra bases on this. Cody up with it. Brian with the great speed is in there easily. So Peterson's got a couple of hits.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, too, as you watch this nice swing. Brian Peterson goes down and gets a pitch down and in. Our checkers double of the game. Even Cody Ross getting to it quickly could not throw him out at second base. So nice to get that double with 2 out. But Brian Peterson wasn't in the original lineup that Jack McKeon had made out. He had Mike Cameron in there. And at the last minute, well, not quite the last minute, but during BP, all of a sudden we saw Brian Peterson in that lineup.
Giants are going to walk John Buck. Buck hit a ball to the track in right center field. And it's going to be Ricky Nolasco's job to try to produce something here in the 4th. By the way, speaking of stadiums, we read you that quote from Cody Ross about the whole Buster Posey situation. I thought it was a very good quote. In that same article, he had this to say about this ballpark. He said, it was a nightmare playing here because you're playing in a football stadium. When you do get a good crowd, it still looks small because it holds 75,000 people. There are rain delays every day, something you have to deal with as a player. Then there's the heat. It just keeps going on and on. I think every player is happy it's the last year there.
When Cody looked at that number 18 going to number 17 tonight, he said, that's great.
Nolasco out to center field. Torres will squeeze it, and Kane pitches out of trouble in the 4th. After tonight, 17 more. Top of the Giants. Time now for the Keep Your Edge Spotlight, brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Logan Morrison with this RBI triple tied the ball game. Just as Logan Morrison gave the Marlins the edge, you too can keep your edge with Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Mike Stanton followed that up with an RBI single. You know, I think if Just for Men Mustache and Beard were to name a player of the year, they'd have to give it to Brian Wilson. Is there a better beard in baseball?
I would have to totally agree on that. Yeah. Not only a better beard is there one that shows that Just for Men may have been used in that beard? I mean, it's jet black.
It is. I mean, it's Joaquin Phoenix-like.
Yeah.
Eli Whiteside.
Whatever happened to him? Anyway, he retired, didn't he?
Kane. And Andres Torres.
Good actor like that, retiring, young guy.
Whiteside singled back in the third. There's the 1-1. Ricky misses away. That single to Whiteside and the bunt by Kane, that was a costly inning. He pushed Nolasco's pitch count up. Ricky was able to keep the Giants off the board.
You and I have been discussing in between innings on that play where there was a little hesitation from Gabby and then he threw it beyond second, how there could have been an error charged because there was a sacrifice given to Kane. Which means, okay, he sacrificed the runner to second base.
Right, and it didn't look like. Here's a look at it. Watch the umpire, watch the pitcher. There's a lot of things, moving parts. And Gabby's throw was off the bag.
But nobody advances.
And so I guess the official score is thinking that a good throw gets him, but looking at that replay, I can't agree with that. I don't think a good throw gets him because of the hesitation. And I don't think you can give a guy an error for hesitating.
He who hesitates, Rich, is charged with an error.
Well, I mean, here's the other scenario. Say Gabby picks the ball up and throws to second and makes a good throw, and the guy is safe. He doesn't get an error then. I mean, essentially the same thing happened. You saw him hesitate. Ricky was ducking out of the way, and the throw was wide. But as you pointed out, nobody advanced. Amezaga waving for it and makes the catch. I know we're splitting hairs, but it's baseball. It's what you do. You discuss. Fox Saturday Baseball. The Rays are in New York. Hey, the Yankees are on Fox Saturday Baseball, Tommy. And this week's telecast on Fox Saturday Baseball begins at 4 Eastern, 3 Central, only on Fox. Here is Kane.
He's probably good for maybe one more inning.
In the hole, Bonifacio dives on his feet, and Kane beats it. Great play. Outstanding effort. Kane is a good athlete, and he legs out a single.
Yeah, Kane at 87 pitches. I like what Gabby did at the tail end of this throw. He knows that Kane's going to be safe. Look how he comes off the bag, gets himself set to block the throw, to keep it in front of him. He doesn't want that throw to get by and let Kane go to second base. The Indians have had a little problem with that over the last couple of days with a catcher turned first baseman. Santana's had some trouble over there.
Marlins are not holding Kane on at first. I think a lot of people assume you could just stick any guy at first base, and that's a place to hide a guy, or throw him out in left field.
And as we know in this game, you'll get exposed. If you go to a position that you're not familiar with, the ball finds you.
That's a swing. DJ Rayburn says swing. It's 0-2. Well, especially at first base. we saw in this division how Ryan Howard struggled his first couple of seasons in the big leagues.
And is much improved.
Very much so. Struck him out. When Velasco strikes out Torres.
I think that was that good split that Ricky uses as his changeup to get a good hitter in Andres Torres.
Well, he is tied now with A.J. Burnett, and he's 4 shy of Dontrell Willis.
Interesting, just his second strikeout. The last couple of games for Ricky have really been unusual. He had the 7 innings against St. Louis. He gave up 10 hits and 2 runs. He had 6 2/3 against Atlanta. Gave up 12 hits and just 1 run.
Keppinger, a scorcher. Bonifacio, nice stop and a great play to finish the Giants in the 5th. Ricky Nolasco clinging on tight to that 2-1 lead. Well, that about sums it up. Sun Life Stadium, Bark at the Park night.
Nachos.
That dog just killed that whole plate of nachos.
How fast do you think he ate those nachos?
Now look at him. Subway 5th inning, 2-1 Fish. Let's check in with Allison. Allie?
Rich, I've got a dog that's awake. That one's taking a nap. These guys are awake up here. This is Junior and Keish and their owners, Sadi and Peter. And you guys are Bark in the Park regulars, right?
We are. We've been to both of them every year for a number of years.
Tell me about Junior and Keish.
Well, they're rescue dogs from Dachshund Rescue South Florida. And actually this whole row here, we have several Dachshunds, one that's even for adoption.
And that's Addison down there, the third one in. You can see Addison. She's beautiful, and she's up for adoption. How old is she?
Oh, 8.
8, okay. And if people are interested, where do they go? What's the organization?
www.dachshundrescue South Florida. And by the way, Tommy and Rich, these two Doxies here, you're their favorite fans. Or they're your favorite fans. Sorry, said that backwards. We think you're the best in the business.
Well, it actually does go both ways, because Rich and Tommy always talk about the Dachshunds with the batting helmets, and they're absolutely adorable. All dressed up, jerseys and everything. They look great. How long have they been coming?
All the time since we've been coming, so for a number of years. I don't know how long they've been doing this, but we were here at the Bark of the Park when they filmed Marley and Me, so that's going a number of years back.
Yes. A couple years now. Excellent. Well, thanks so much for the time. enjoy the game? Are they going to stay awake till the end?
Thank you. I think so. The food's keeping them awake, and the scents and smells. So.
There you go. Thanks so much, guys. Rich and Tommy, back to you from a couple of your favorite fans.
Oh, that's great.
We love them. Those that guy looks like an old grizzled catcher.
You got the batteries. You got the pitcher. There's the catcher. He's got the helmet backward. There's the pitcher. He's ready to work. Get the sign.
You know, and they've been coming here so long, Tommy, that they don't have to wear a helmet with ear flaps. They were grandfathered in.
Grandfathered in, yeah.
Bonifacio takes a ball in the dirt. And it's 2-2. I think one of the challenges for Bonifacio from this point forward is to validate what he's done over the last 2 months. And that is take more pitches, get on base, and steal bases.
That's a good point. I mean, I don't think we expect another 26-game hitting streak. Hey, it'd be nice. But I think you'd like to see the continued improvement on what he did to this point.
Because I think the ball club needs to see that in the next month and a half. Here's the 3-2. Chopper towards short. Cabrera comes and gets the hop and gets Bonifacio. We'll step aside from that conversation. We'll go into a special 10-run reel presentation of the filming of Marley and Me. Remember when Jennifer Aniston was here?
Owen Wilson.
Now the highlight, it was Bark at the Park night. People didn't know that they were actually filming this from Marley and Me. Anytime you can get Jennifer Aniston running in the outfield is a pretty cool deal. Or is it just her running? Do we have her in the outfield? Breaking balls, strike. There they are. There's see, that's what I'm hoping for right there. Got the sandals in her hand. Marley.
And most of the people, with the exception of some of the extras that were working the film, most of them didn't know what was going on.
They thought one of the dogs from Bark at the Park had just simply gotten loose on the field.
It's a sad movie, though.
It is very
it's
sad.
A good movie,
I dare you to go to that movie if you've ever had a dog and not tear up. But we knew, so we were expecting Jennifer Aniston and that Owen Wilson guy. Mostly Jennifer Aniston. 2-1 pitch is up to Amezaga.
I know you weren't looking at Owen Wilson.
It's 3-1.
That was Owen Wilson.
That was. Mezga's hit it hard twice. He singled down the right field line, and then Huff robbed them of a hit. And there's a strike. It's 3-2.
Yeah, Mezga's hit the ball hard twice tonight.
Here's the 3-2. Struck him out. Here's the reason, Tommy, where I think for Bonifacio the next month and a half is very important. Because if he continues what he's built on, and he finishes the season with a high on-base percentage and a high batting average, and say he steals 35, 40 bases, then the organization can look at him and say, all right, he's given us almost a full season of this. Now, moving forward, can he be the third baseman? Can he be the second baseman? Can he be the center fielder?
Well, what it does, and I get your drift, it helps the organization determine what they want to do with the Bonifacio next year. Is he going to be an everyday player, or is he one of those super utility guys you have on your team? So, yeah, I agree with you totally.
Because if he's a 295 hitter and a 360 on base percentage guy, then he's good enough defensively to be an everyday player. And your leadoff hitter.
And the amazing thing about Bonifacio, he could be that everyday player at a number of positions.
Second base, third base,
center field.
Center field. I don't know that it could be shortstop.
No.
Kane's out in front of Morrison, 0-2. Hammered down the right field line. Ross over to get it. Morrison around first. He's digging for two. Cody has got him. Morrison tried a matrix-type slide, but Cody Ross throws out Logan Morrison, who with 2 outs was trying to get himself in a scoring position.
Béisbol está disponible en español vía Zap y es presentado por KFC.
Joe and Cookie join us now. Hi, guys.
How you guys doing?
Everything good?
Hi, Richie.
Everything is very good.
That's good. Cookie, can you hear us, or you have a little difficulty? I think Cookie's having some audio difficulty.
I can't hear them.
I can hear you. I can hear you fine and dandy.
All right.
Tell Cookie we said hi.
They say hi, Cookie.
Hi, Tommy. Richie, hi. I don't know why. Can't hear anything.
All right, guys. Have a good show.
You too.
All right. Look out. Up the middle. Bonifacio has it, and he makes the throw to first.
Por encima de Nolasco.
That's not an easy play, because when a ball's hit like that off the end of the bat, it has some tough spin right over the head of Ricky. Fortunately, he gets out of the way and doesn't deflect it. If he deflects it somewhere, it might be a base hit. It's a heads-up job by Bonifacio to get there.
Fortunately, he didn't deflect it with his body or his noggin. That was a close call. Aubrey Huff now. Big moment in the ball game for the Marlins and Ricky Nolasco in the third. Breaking ball strike. Ricky had runners at second and third and one out. Jeff Keppinger flied to right for the second out of the inning, and the Marlins walked Sandoval to get to Huff. And Nolasco got Huff to pop out. Here's the 1-1. Of course, as the Giants arrived here at Sun Life Stadium, so did the crew from Major League Baseball Productions and Showtime for the franchise, which is the ongoing series, sort of the Hard Knocks of Major League Baseball this summer, the 1-2.
Is it kind of like a reality show, following the Giants around during the season?
Yeah, well, it's like, did you see Hard Knocks at all on HBO?
I did not.
Training camp with different NFL teams?
I did not.
There they are. A Showtime exclusive. Check swing didn't go. It's 2-2. Cody Ross is on deck. Nolasco working here in the sixth, has an out. Ricky at 77 pitches. Matt Cain is at a whopping 103. 3-2 up the middle and into center field. Huff delivers a base hit. The 1 on and 1 out. Marlin fans, present your Miccosukee Ultimate Reward Players Club card at the stadium box office. Starting 2 hours prior to any Marlins home game, get a $10 discount on up to 8 infield box seats. Offer cannot be combined and is subject to availability. Miccosukee Resort and Gaming. Get in the game. Cody Ross now has flied out twice, once to left, once to center. I've not seen an episode of the franchise, but I've heard it's good, and I would expect Cody Ross, with his telegenic smile, plays a big role.
I would imagine Ryan Wilson would be featured in that.
Leather-clad Pat Burrell as the machine, maybe. Here's the 0-1. Into right center, Peterson and Stanton. And Stanton makes the catch.
And maybe a guest appearance from Tatanka.
We had a guest appearance from Tatanka, Tommy. And we went to the computer to find out who the heck Tatanka was. He's big, and he apparently is a legend of WWE, Chris Tatanka. Tatanka means buffalo. And Tatanka ripping down the number. It's too bad Craig isn't here. He would know who Tatanka is.
Oh, yeah. Craig's probably seen Tatanka perform.
Tatanka is actually a Lumbee Indian from the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina. Huff is running. Buck's throw out at second base. Quick tag by Ameziga. So John Buck throws out Aubrey Huff. A sneak attack by Huff. And the Giants are done in the 6th. (2-1). Marlins on top of the Giants. That's all I'm going to say. Lucky dog. Matt Cain, 103 pitches into this thing. Goes to work in the bottom of the 6th. In a 2-1 ball game. Marlins on top. Good ball game. Mike Stanton, Greg Dobbs, and Gabby Sanchez coming up.
Boy, the interesting thing about Cain coming into this start, his last 4 road starts, and this is where it's an interesting comparison because AT&T is such a great park to pitch in. His last 4 road starts, he's 1-0 with an 0.67 ERA. Hitters are hitting 149 against him. Coming into this game tonight, for the Marlins to get a couple of runs off of him, that's big.
And it's typical Matt Cain in that he's just 1-0 in those 4 starts. And his ERA,
right.
and his ERA is
right.
0.67. Ooh.
Well, speaking of road trips, the Phillies just off their 10-game road trip. Colorado, San Francisco, Los Angeles. They went 9-1.
And they're home against Washington tonight. The Nationals actually have a 2-1 lead over the Phillies. And Cole Hamels, that's in the 5th. 2-1 Nationals.
Against Livan Hernandez.
You know, he's playing pretty well right now, and the Marlins will see him on this road trip, the San Diego Padres. Cameron Maybin had a big day yesterday.
He's continued on after that series he had here.
Mike Stanton goes down swinging. First out of the 6th inning. All right, road trip. Where will we go hang gliding? Why, over Denver, Colorado. A mile high. Tulo will be there. Dexter Fowler. How about Cargo? They make a special guest appearance.
But Seth Smith.
Oh, San Diego. Cameron Maybin. And
Tin
the rest.
Fish.
The rest of the Padres. That is one of the great road trips in all of baseball, going to San Diego for 4.
2 great ballparks. Coors Field still a delight to go to.
When you think about the great ballparks in baseball, the Dobbs drives that one to center, hits it pretty well. Torres goes back, he's there, and he makes the catch. Greg Dobbs jumped all over that one. Coors Light, 6th inning, and it's a freeze cam time. Cody Ross, Morrison trying to stretch it, not on Cody. Here's the matrix slide. Even Keanu Reeves would have been out. The Frostbrewed Coors Light freeze cam.
Great job by the veteran Orlando Cabrera to stay with the throw and put the tag on Lomo. That's kind of a interesting thought on Lomo trying to get the double. He's trying to get the scoring position because there are 2 out. But on the other hand, you did have Mike Stanton coming up. So I still like him trying to go to second, get into scoring position.
0-2 pitch. Gabby lines it to the second baseman, Keppinger. So Kane gets through the inning with just 11 pitches. Maybe that buys him another one. Our Toyota trend tonight. The Giants have not won back-to-back games since late July in Philadelphia. In the run, they are 3-10 and have been outscored a bunch, 61-30. So for Bruce Bochy and the Giants, the second-place Giants, and that sounds odd to say, the Giants seemingly in first place from the get-go in the West. But right now, Arizona, 1-game lead.
And you know Arizona, the Diamondbacks will have their eyes on this game.
Mets in Arizona are about 40 minutes away from starting. Diamondbacks have won 3 in a row to take over first place. Ricky Nolasco working into the 7th. Getting Orlando Cabrera, Aaron Rowan, and Eli Whiteside. That's fouls.
And working into the 7th is something Ricky likes to do, and it's something he plans on doing. His last 9 starts, he's gone 7 innings 6 times.
Ramon Ramirez.
You would have to think it's probably all for Matt Cain.
Ooh, man. Pretty good pitch. Just off the plate. Not a bad place to put a 1-2 breaking ball. Ed Rapuano has been on it all night.
He had a good game behind the plate. After that slow curveball, then Ricky ran that fastball and really jammed Cabrera. He's just a smart hitter, and he got enough of it to foul it off.
Cabrera, 6 of the last 7 postseasons have had Orlando Cabrera in them. With Cincinnati last year, Minnesota the year before, the White Sox the year before, a couple of years with the Angels, and a world champion with Boston in 2004.
He started his career with the Montreal Expos back in 1997, first coming up to the major leagues.
And he's another one of those guys that won a Gold Glove under the tutelage of Perry Hill when he was an Expo. Soft ground ball, Dobbs to his left, shuffles his feet, and makes the play. One out here in the 7th. Aaron Rowan coming up. Series and homestand concludes on Sunday. It's a family Sunday with the Giants and the Marlins. 1:10 start. Tommy, it's Billy's birthday at the ballpark. Kids get a Marlins back-to-school lunch cooler courtesy of Geico and can run the bases after the game.
They still have time to get a gift.
1-877-Marlins. Or go to marlins.com.
I'm glad you reminded me.
I think a gift certificate, local bait shop.
One year I got Billy a gift certificate at a seafood restaurant. He didn't think that was funny.
That's all right. I bet he still smiled when he opened it.
It's really great. Whatever you get him, he doesn't talk back.
Rowan takes a strike. 1-1.
Accepts it with that smile.
Well, you knew sooner or later Rowan was going to get a hit in this ballpark and against this team. Over 340 in his career coming in. Bangs one into left field. As you pointed out, Ricky has given up a bunch of hits, but not many runs in his last couple of starts.
Now, you have to be careful. Rowan doesn't run the way he used to. He has a couple of stolen bases this year, but we saw Aubrey Huff try to steal a bag in the 6th inning.
Giants advanced scouts were here to watch the Marlins play against the Braves. One of those scouts is a guy that has seen the Marlins play an awful lot the last couple of seasons. Jim Riggleman, former Nationals.
And the other scout, a great name in baseball, a guy that a lot of people will remember, Steve Bye-Bye Balboni.
Had a brief but powerful run with the Kansas City Royals. Ground ball brings Dobbs to his left. Got one there. Amezaga's turn. Got 2 there. Nice turn by Alfredo. Good feed from Dobbs. And Nolasco rolls his 2nd double play of the night.
Well, we have the same matchup we had in San Francisco back in May in the first inning. The Giants actually get on the scoreboard first. Home run, a solo home run by Pablo Sandoval on a hanging slider. 1-0 San Francisco. Amezaga gets things started, bottom half of the first. First base is Amezaga, and all of a sudden Logan Morrison triples into that gap in right center, chasing home Amezaga to tie the game. And just like that, on a slider, Mike Stanton unties it 2-1. So all the scoring came early. It's still 2-1, and Ricky Nolasco has been throwing the ball well.
And Tommy, as we've seen, you give Ricky Nolasco a lead. He showed it coming up in the Cubs organization as a minor leaguer, and he's done it at the big league level with the Marlins. You give him a lead, he usually keeps it.
He's made some good pitches. One of the things I like to talk about, when you see a double play, a lot of times you forget it starts with the pitch that the pitcher makes to get the hitter to hit that ground ball. Ricky's made some good pitches to get a couple of double plays.
Yeah, the Marlins right now trying to end a 7-game losing streak. The Giants, of course, coming into this one have been struggling as well. Giants have lost 10 of their last 13. Brian Peterson takes a strike from Ramirez. Peterson, a good night tonight. He's 2 for 2, an infield single and a double. Then John Buck, and then Nolasco. And the Marlins bullpen is starting to stir just in case they get somebody on here. I suspect Jack McKeon wants Nolasco back out there for the 8th, but if he's presented with a chance to tack on a few runs, he'll probably take that shot. There's Ricky.
You know what Ricky wants to do.
Peterson pulls that ground ball. Keppinger not going to get him. The more I see of Brian Peterson, Tommy, the more I like him as a player. He is very fast. He's a good defensive center fielder, and he's handling himself at the plate quite well.
And he has made adjustments, something you love to see from young players. He's stuck with his game plan ever since coming up from AAA, where he was hitting .351. So a 3-hit night for Petey.
Nolasco climbs on deck. And here's Buck. You got good speed at first. Ramirez over to first. Remember, we saw Mike Stanton thrown out by Whiteside back in the 3rd, but obviously you got Peterson with better speed. Different guy on the mound, though, with Ramirez than Kane. Kane went 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs. He walked 2 and he struck out 4.
Yeah, Ramirez with pretty good fastball, slider, changeup.
Buck swings at the fastball and fouls it out of play. Nolasco has gone 7, 6 hits for Ricky, a run, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. So Nolasco's fate as far as continuing in this game rests probably on this at bat. Here's the 0-1. If Buck makes an out, you can always bring Ricky up to bunt the runner to second. If Buck were to knock one into the gap or drive one in for a base hit and put runners first and second or second and third, then you'd probably see a pinch hitter.
Yeah, I think Ricky's fate depends on where the runners are. More importantly, where Peterson is.
Peterson's at first right now with an 0-2 count on John Buck. Ramirez is the reliever who caused a stir when he drilled Shane Victorino in the back when the Phillies were in San Francisco.
That was after the stolen base. Jimmy Rollins.
6-run ball game in the 6th inning, and that's a real gray area.
It is. You could get a lot of different answers. You and I talked about it at the time. It's some managers, as Tony La Russa said when we talked to him, 6 runs in that ballpark should do it. 6 runs in Philadelphia, different story.
One-two to Buck. And he swings and misses at a breaking ball. So Nolasco is going to get to stay in the ball game, and he'll come up and try to bunt Peterson to second. Jam Lexus presents leaders of the game. Strikeout leaders. The Giants, you'll find them at the top of just about every big category like this with this rotation. Jam Lexus price made us #1. Click jmlexus.com to find out how. You combine this pitching staff with that ballpark, and you get some great numbers. Ricky went after it, and it's 0-1.
Big game for the Cardinals last night. They were able to salvage the last game of that series against Milwaukee.
Those two have gone their separate ways after last night.
Chris Carpenter pitched well. King Albert went 4 for 4 with a home run.
Milwaukee has a 3-0 lead over Pittsburgh. That's in Milwaukee. St. Louis is tied 1-1 with Colorado. That's in St. Louis. Ricky misses at that bunt. Man, the Braves are just hammering the Cubs, and the Cubs are actually hot. In Atlanta, as you pointed out, Dan Uggla extends his hitting streak with his 25th homer. He just added his 26th homer. Uggla has homered twice. Jose Constanza has hit his second. Chipper Jones his 10th. Freddie Freeman his 16th.
Carlos Zambrano started that game for the Cubs.
8-1 Atlanta over the Cubs in the 6th. 5 home runs for the Braves. And how hot is Dan Uggla? I was talking to Cody Ross about Uggla before the ball game, and he and Uggla, obviously good friends, have stayed in contact, and he said the best thing about talking to Uggla is that he never panics.
Now, the funny part about that, I remember talking to Cody when we were in San Francisco about Uggla, and at the time, that was when Uggla was just really struggling. And he said, yeah, he just doesn't feel right. Things feel weird for him. He stayed with it, though, and got the respect of his teammates.
Peterson is running. Pitch is bunted at and missed for strike 3. And Peterson has a stolen base. That's a nice move by Jack McKeon. With 2 strikes, he figures, Ricky's having trouble getting the bunt down. I might as well just bunt and run.
Brian Peterson now 3 out of 3 in stolen bases. Got a terrific jump and easily picks up the steal as Ricky tries to bunt it, a pitch well out of the zone.
I'll tell you what, for Peterson, he's proven that he can play the role of 4th outfielder as a reserve.
The other thing I like about Brian Peterson, I can't tell you the number of times you walk through the clubhouse or you see some players hanging out, and he's hanging out with Mike Cameron.
Yeah. Yeah, he has made full use of Mike Cameron since the veteran arrived here. Now Bonifacio. Peterson at second. Bonifacio is 0 for 3. And he swings and misses.
And remember, of course, we've talked about the differences in these teams from when they last met in May. Brian Peterson wasn't even with the club.
Scott Cousins was.
Yeah.
4-game hit streak for Bonifacio, but he's an 0 for tonight. 0 for 3. 1-1. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Ramirez runs it away. It's 2-1. Bonifacio goes after a pitch in the dirt. And that's something we didn't see him do much at all in the month of July.
Yeah, you can even go back to June 21st. And since that time, Bonifacio's hit .320 and has had an on-base percentage around .390. But he has 2 strikes on him. You notice none of those pitches are in the zone.
And that was the old Bonifacio, a guy that with 2 strikes had a lot more panic in his swing. Eduardo Perez has worked hard with him. That's a big insurance run out there at second base if the Marlins can pick it up here in the bottom of the 7th. Ramirez misses high.
Well, he didn't get him to chase the high fastball. See if he goes off speed 3-2. Get him to chase something out of the zone.
Javier Lopez. Giants pen. To left, Rowand makes the catch. Marlins leave Peterson in scoring position. Nolasco back out there for the top of the 8th, trying to protect a 1-run lead. By the authority of the Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Fish. Ricky Nolasco meets Nate Shearholtz, who pinch hits here in the 8th.
Shearholtz has had a very good year. Solid when he's been in the lineup. Good pinch hitter. 6 for 21 off the bench with a home run. There are his totals on the year. And he's a terrific outfielder. He has a little soreness in his hip. If not for that, he may have been in this lineup tonight against Ricky Nolasco.
Shearholtz, a guy that grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. Nolasco starts and then stops. Giants have 6 hits. Marlins have 7. Both teams have an error. And Shearholtz pulls it foul. And it's 1-2. The Giants, as the Marlins finish a long homestand, the Giants are starting a long road trip. A 10-game trip. They arrive in Florida. Then they go to Atlanta for 4 games and Houston for 3 games. Swing and a miss. Nolasco strikes out Shearholtz.
And you know, when you face the Giants, you're going to see some tough pitching. Matt Cain started tonight. The Marlins will see Tim Lincecum in the game tomorrow, and then Ryan Vogelsong, who's had a tremendous year, will pitch on Sunday.
And the Marlins rotation has actually changed again. Javi Vasquez will pitch tomorrow night. It was thought that Vasquez would be pushed off his start. He had to go back to Puerto Rico for a family issue, and the Marlins were going to push him back 2 or 3 days, but he was back, and Jack McKeon said he's back. He wants to pitch.
He's
so
ready to go.
It'll be Vasquez tomorrow and Volstad on Sunday against Vogelsong. Battle of the V's.
And by the way, the strikeout by Ricky, there's Chris Volstad back with the big club after 3 starts in AAA. Ricky now in sole possession on the Marlins all-time list, number 2 in strikeouts. Just 3 behind Dontrelle Willis now.
754 is Ricky. 757 is Dontrelle. Here's the 1-1. Good breaking ball. Strike. It's 1-2. And of course, the Reds are coming to town the next time the Marlins are home. And so there's a chance that Dontrelle Willis will make a start in this ballpark as a member of the Reds.
And Ricky trying to just keep moving up the ladder on a lot of those lists. If he is able to pick up a win tonight, it would be career win number 63. And that would put him 5 behind Dontrelle Willis for the all-time lead in Marlins history.
Ricky has pitched well enough to win more than 8 games. I mean, there have been, especially in these last 7-8 ball games, that went right off the forearm of Ed Rapp. 1-2 coming. Just missed. 2-2. And it was just off. Got him with the ball in the dirt. Buck digs it out, tags him out. He has struck out both that he's faced here in the 8th inning. FoxSportsFlorida.com has the latest news surrounding your favorite Florida sports teams. Log on for the post-game coverage from tonight's matchup. Find out details on the Brandon Marshall stabbing incident and get connected with Game Connect.
Can't wait to check that out.
Wow, that not sure how to follow that up.
Hey, I'll tell you how we can follow it up. We follow it up to see if Ricky can continue with breaking balls the way he's thrown to the first 2 hitters. He's brought out a dandy in this inning to pick up a couple of strikeouts.
Here's the 0-1. Popped him up, fouling out of play. I was expecting, you know, the latest on the Gators, maybe Dolphin highlights.
Yeah.
Highlights from Ricky Nolasco's night. Here's the 0-2 pitch.
Tiger not making the cut.
What are we turning into, Tom? I mean, We're a baseball telecast. We're not Access Hollywood. Come on. Come on, people, shake yourself. One-two to Keppinger. Velasco misses away.
I would expect one of these nights we'll have Geraldo as a guest.
2-2. Fastball, fly ball. Peterson tracking in right center. Makes the catch. And Ricky Nolasco has 8 innings in the book, and he's got that 2-1 lead.
Does he come out for the 9th?
We'll see. Tommy Hutton asked the question, would Ricky come out for the 9th? Now, you always look to see when a starting pitcher comes off, what is the reaction? Does he get the handshakes and the hugs? And Randy St. Clair coming over, patting him on the back, that would indicate that he's done. There's Jack McKeon. And
it would indicate that, yet Ricky then gets toweled off, puts the jacket on, but all the starters come over, congratulate him. And
I think he is. I think he is done. If he's back there picking out his drink, that's not your standard operating procedure for a starting pitcher with a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 8th. Normally, you have your drinks brought to you at that point. So here's a Meziga, and he runs up to bunt and takes outside. Javier Lopez is in the ball game. Lopez was a guy that I think was a huge acquisition for the Giants last year that gets overlooked because he was middle relief, and obviously Brian Wilson was the headliner from that bullpen. But Lopez last year, when he came over from the Pirates, pitched in 27 games. His ERA was 1.42. And opponents on base percentage 164. He's a native of Puerto Rico. He has a psych degree from the University of Virginia.
Well, they had a good bullpen. And there's no question when you break down teams who get to postseason, that's generally the case.
Been with the Rockies, the Diamondbacks, the Red Sox, and then part of last season with the Pirates. Counts 1-2 on a Meziga. You got Logan Morrison and Mike Stanton to follow in the bottom of the 8th.
Got the totals in, Rich, from Bark at the Park tonight.
Meziga lines it foul. Yes.
It's 643 adults, 392 dogs, and 81 kids.
Nice, and all the proceeds go to the Humane Society. There's our favorite, the two dachshunds.
They're still here.
The catcher has taken his mask off and his helmet.
He goes with the older style mask, too, in case you're wondering. He doesn't have the hockey style mask.
Eddie Rapp is old school.
French Poodle would have the hockey style mask.
Here's the 2-2. We've seen a lot of the Men in Black dogs. I don't know what they are. Are they pugs? We've seen a lot of pugs here tonight.
Pugs, puggles.
Pugs and dachshunds. That seems to be.
Saw a few beagles.
Yeah. It's a little easier to get the smaller dogs in. The larger ones have a tendency to want to eat the camera. Meziga's having a nice at bat here. It's gone to 3-2.
Or just go after the dachshunds.
Yes.
Good AB by Alfredo. He's had a good night.
He's 1 for 3. He was robbed of a hit on the great play by Aubrey Huff in the 3rd inning. Lines that one into right field. Ross is there, and Cody makes the catch. Another ball hit well by Meziga. Tickets of America poll question. Who's going to win the West? The Giants right now, 64%, 789.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will go. It's really an interesting poll, and could be closer numbers. The Giants certainly with the experience, having won it all last year. The Giants certainly with a great starting rotation. But if you start measuring up the other players, the offense, right now, Arizona probably a better offensive team. Got a big walk-off home run from Chris Young last night.
Giants still have to play Houston twice.
It's 7 games with the Astros. And, you know, you would think, breaking down the two teams, you would think that would certainly favor San Francisco. And I think they have a home and road series left against Arizona, too.
Pitch is a strike. The Diamondbacks, just looking at their finish, the Diamondbacks play their last 9 games at home. 3 against Pittsburgh, 3 against the Giants, and 3 against the Dodgers.
In contrast to that, the Giants have 3 in LA, 3 in Arizona, and then finish at home against Colorado.
Arizona still has a tough road swing. Coming up shortly, they're going to Philadelphia for 3, to Atlanta for 3, and then back up to Washington for 4. 2-2 to Morrison.
Well, you saw Lopez drop down.
Matt Cain trying to sneak a fastball by Morrison. This was the game-tying triple from Morrison, who has 2 hits tonight. Our Gunther drive of the game. So the count's full. Yeah, he really did drop down. Lopez gets Morrison. There's 2 outs. Here comes Mike Stanton. Mota is ready in the bullpen. We'll see if Bruce Bochy brings him in to face Stanton. Follow the Marlins with the MLB.com @Bat 11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @Bat to 31826 or visit Marlins.com for details. Where would Tommy Hutton be without his at-bat app?
Terrific app. My favorite app.
Javier Lopez missing down low to Mike Stanton. There you go. There's your iPad.
I have a different scoreboard tonight. I'm trying out a new one. Usually I have the at-bat, the 11 app scoreboard, but I'm trying out the MLB.com scoreboard. Just to try to change it up a little bit. I mean, I got a haircut on the off day. Now I've got a few different things here. You do anything when you've lost 7 in a row.
2-1 to Stanton, and it's outside. Greg Dobbs is on deck. The Giants, in the 9th inning, with Nunez warming up in the bullpen, will have Pablo Sandoval, Aubrey Huff, and Cody Ross. So not the easiest of trios in the 9th. Stanton walks.
He might have just pitched around. You know, you look at the numbers of Javier Lopez. Lefties against Lopez hitting under 150. Right-handers about 265. So he handled Logan Morrison, pitched around Mike Stanton. Now go after Greg Dobbs.
Mike Stanton has walked 11 times in his last 5 games.
He walked 13 times all of July.
So not an easy at bat for Dobbs. Lopez catches the corner.
Yeah, on the other hand, for Greg Dobbs, just 22 at bats this year against lefties, 5 for 22.
Quickly, it's 0-2. Marlins trying to snap this 7-game losing streak. The Giants trying to pull out of a funk that has seen them drop 10 of 13, drop out of first place. This is a team that went all the way down to the wire last year to edge out the Padres for the National League West title. That's really dropping down.
Yeah, that's you're up there as a lefty hitter. You almost feel that ball was thrown by Aubrey Huff, the first baseman. That was almost submarine, too.
He figures he might as well throw to first as long as he's stepping towards first.
I think right now with 2 strikes, I'd just take a chance with Mike Stanton. Let him go.
On first motion?
Yeah, because this is a tough AB for Dobbs.
Got him. So he strikes out the 2 lefties. And the Marlins will turn to Leo Nunez to try to save it for Ricky Nolasco in a 2-1 game. Williams.
Ricky, a solid 8 innings, 6 hits, just 1 run given up tonight. How do you feel after your start?
Well, felt good. Just trying to work early and throw a lot of strikes, let them put the ball in play, and they were swinging early. So I was trying to keep it going. I had a good pace of the game, and those those 2 runs in the bottom of the first were big to get us back on top, and that's been the difference.
How determined were you to stay in for that 8th inning?
Oh, I wanted to go out there. When I went up there, pretty much knew the situation that I was going to get pinch hit for, but I always want to be out there as long as I can, and just glad I was able to finish the 8th.
Ricky, the starters as a whole have struggled this homestand. How important was it for you to come out here and give your team a good performance?
Oh, starting pitching is always key, so just good trying to end this little losing streak we got going on, and hopefully we can save it.
Ricky, thanks so much for the time. Guys.
Our thanks to Ricky Nolasco. And now it's on to Leo Nunez. And Nunez facing Pablo Sandoval, Aubrey Huff, and Cody Ross. Nunez has gone 2-0. Sandoval homered against Nolasco in the first, and that's the only run for the Giants. Ground ball up the middle into center field. The Giants have life. And a leadoff single. Here comes Huff.
Of course, when you're 0-7, the last 7 games, no saves for Leo. His last save was in New York. He has pitched a couple of times on this homestand.
So now it's Huff. Then you've got Cody Ross, Orlando Cabrera after that. Giants have used Nate Shearholtz as a pinch hitter already. They have the veteran Mark DeRosa on the bench. They have an injured Carlos Beltran on the bench. Nunez against Huff. And Leo misses outside. A changeup, and it's 1-0. Well, the Marlins have their opportunity here. Ricky Nolasco, a splendid 8 innings. They've delivered it to their closer. Good 1-0 fastball.
Pretty good cut, too, by Huff. But that fastball had some nice life on it.
Jose Seda in the bullpen. Nunez is 31 of 35 in save opportunities. Sandoval the tying run at first. Nobody out. 1-1 pitch.
By the way, for those of you that didn't read or hear, Jose Seda came up with Chris Volstead when Hanley Ramirez was placed on the disabled list, and Brad Hand sent back to Double-A.
Two-one pitch. It's out, and Nunez has gone 3-1 to Aubrey Huff. And Cody Ross waits on deck. Huff has 11 homers this year. He is 1 for 3, a single tonight. And he was ripping at that one.
Now Sandoval doesn't have a lot of speed. The way he rips at another fastball. He's fouled a couple of fastballs off straight back. Wonder what Bochy will do with the Panda on a 3-2 pitch with nobody out.
Gabby holds him. Marlins have turned 2 double plays tonight. He is running on the pitch, which is swung on and hit in the air to right center. Stanton lopes over. He's under it and makes the catch.
When you're running in that situation, which Sandoval was, you need to pick up the ball, which he did, because Bonifacio tried to put a nice decoy on him and pretend that he was getting ready to turn a double play. Watch Bonifacio. Here comes a Bragg. He pretends he's going to catch the ball, but Pablo saw it and knew it was a fly ball to right field. Can't fool the Panda.
Now you've got Cody Ross. And he takes a mean rip and fouls it back. Orlando Cabrera is on deck. Ross tonight has flied to every outfield position. To left in the second, to center in the fourth, to right in the sixth. Infield waiting for a ground ball. Sandoval away from first. Nunez to the plate. That's a strike with a fastball. It's 0-2.
Boy, and that is a live fastball. 97, right on the inside part of the plate. Great location and great velocity.
Oh, 2. Fastball, fly ball, center field deep. Back goes Wise, looks up, and he dives, and he got it! Wow! Dwayne Wise nearly misplayed that ball, and at the last minute, he dove for it and made the catch right at the track.
He's going to tell the guys in the clubhouse after the game, I had this all the way. But he goes back a little too far. As he tries to regroup, he slips a little bit, but is able to maintain his balance and concentration and make the catch. How many times has he come in just for 1 or 2 innings of defense and made a terrific play? The tough play because that ball was hit sharply and directly over his head in center field.
Now here is Cabrera. So there are 2 outs in the ninth. 1 for 3 is Cabrera. Sandoval still at first. Nunez stays with a fastball. It's fouled back. 96 from Leo. Oh, 1. Rowand is the hitter on deck. Nunez trying to save it for Nolasco. 8 innings of 1-run baseball for Ricky tonight. '97 threw it by him. 0-2. If Leo is pumping 97, you would expect another heater here.
I got to come after him with 97. I don't want to give Orlando Cabrera a pitch that speeds his bat up and that he can hit out.
Let's see what he gets. 0-2. 98.
Do I hear 99?
Well, you heard Greg Dobbs talking live with Allison Williams before the ball game, right before first pitch, that the Marlins were loose, they were not tight, and they felt good about tonight. Another 0-2 to Cabrera. Got him! Ball game! Marlins snap the skid at 7. And Nunez saves it. Ricky Nolasco has been deserving of a win for the longest of times, and he gets it tonight. Morrison and Stanton deliver the RBIs. Nunez locks down his 32nd save, and the Marlins beat the Giants for the 4th time this season. The Marlins are now 4-0 against San Francisco. They beat them by a score of 2-1. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. How about a 97-mile-an-hour fastball?
Well, we saw 97. We saw 98. He gets him to chase 97 for strike 3. You got it. Flaunt it. Throw that fastball. He got it by Cabrera.
Marlins win it 2-1. We'll give you some final totals after this.